Hi, this is a quick introduction to show you how to add components into a schematic in the program called gschem. Gschem is a part of gEDA, which is an open source suite of schematic capture and PCB layout design programs. Alright, so what I want to do right now is to add a few LEDs into my design. There are several ways to do this. You can use the symbol here, which is to add a component. You can also click add and then select component, or you can just use the shortcut key, which is lowercase I in this case, to add a new component. When you're first starting out, you might want to use the menu a little bit more, but as you get more familiarized with the software, it is actually very easy to use the keyboard shortcuts. So I type lowercase I on the keyboard, and that brings up the component selection screen. And let me make sure that I can fit the entire thing within the captured portion of this screen. I want to find an LED. It may or may not be easy to find. It should be under diodes. But in case you cannot find it easily, you can always type LED in the filter, and that will automatically search through all the components by the device names and only select and only have the ones with the word LED left in the selections. So I can click here, and apparently there are two types of LEDs. One is this type and one is this type. The difference has to do with which pin has the anode and which pin has the cathode. We'll just go ahead and go with LED-2. And once you have selected the component, you click OK, and now we have the LED here. So we'll just put two of these, or we can just put one. Okay, we'll just go ahead and pick one, and then I press the escape key so that I'm no longer in add component mode. Let's say I want to rotate this so that the current flows from north to south, or from top to down. To do that, you can use Edit, and there is one tool here to change the rotation or to specify the rotation, which is ER. You can also use the shortcut keys ER, instead of rotate, or instead of using the menu here. So I used ER, ER, ER. So now I have the LED in the orientation that I want to use. If I want to make another LED, I can use Control-C to copy, and then Control-V to paste. And now we have another LED, like so. Great. So now we have the LED, and I need to specify maybe a resistor and stuff like that. But before that, I need to tie the anode of the LED to 5 volts, or VDD in this case. The way we can do that is to use lowercase I again, because the power rail is one of the components, and you can go to power rails and then go to VDD, which has its own symbol. Click OK, and now we can add VDD to both of these LEDs. I only need to add one because they can be shared, and next I will show you how to draw a net. When you want to draw a net, which is a logical connection from one pin of one component to another pin of either another component or even the same component, you can use the shortcut key N, lowercase n, or you can always go to add and then select net, which is the same as lowercase n as a shortcut key. As I said, once you get familiarized with the shortcut key, it's actually pretty easy to do things. So you want to, let's zoom in a little bit more, and let me show you how to do this. You want to position your mouse pointer to one of the hot points. Basically it is the point of connection, which is highlighted in red in a symbol, and then you press lowercase n to start the net, and wherever you go, the net will be connected. So we'll connect it here first, and unless I press the right click key or select another tool, the net keeps going and going. So now that we are done, I can either press the right click key, which is escape, the same as escape, or I can just press escape as well. Okay, and now that I have pressed the right click key, you can see that I'm no longer drawing a net at this point. So the second part of this is I want to specify a current limiting resistor so that the LEDs do not get too bright or get burned out. Once again, I use I to select resistors. So use filter to help me find all the resistor symbols. And there are quite a few because many of these are resistor packs. As far as I'm concerned, I only need to use either resistor 1 or resistor 2. The only difference has to do with what it looks like. And I'm much more used to the wiggly symbol of resistor, and this is what I'm going to pick. And we'll just put here, and then use ER to rotate a part. ER can also be used to rotate a part that is before you put into the schematic. So we'll do that and put another one here, and now we have an extra one here. When you have an extra one, or when you need to select a component, you can always use a shortcut key lowercase s to select the select tool, and then you click on the component and you press the delete key to get rid of the extra component that we don't need anymore. And here we still need to connect the nets. So press lowercase n and put it here, and then press the right click key so that we can move on to the other side. Click again, and click again, and then right click again. So we are almost done here. Let me scroll down a little bit here. So the next question is, where do we connect the resistors to? Because I want the MCU or the microcontroller unit to be able to control whether these two LEDs are lit or not. You can always connect it back to one of the pins here, but that is a little bit harder to change in the future because you will actually have to change a lot of things, and it will look kind of confusing. So the way I usually do it is to just draw a net that does not connect to anything. Okay, and oh, okay. Now I remember why. Because when you're not connecting to anything, it doesn't let you do it that way. So the only way to do this, because it has this is in intelligent mode, is to start drawing somewhere else, and like that. And you can always go back to select mode, lowercase s, and then change. Oops. Right here, and you can change the endpoint to any place you want. So you can always do some additional editing later on. Okay, now that we have all this done, there are several more things that you have to do. One is you click on the LED, and you want to make sure that you have this box or the properties of the component displayed. If you do not have display, like I just closed it, you can use EE to edit the attributes of a particular symbol. It has almost everything ready. The reference destination, we can auto-populate a question mark, so that's not an issue. But the one thing you do have to specify if you want to lay out a board for this design is to specify the footprint. So here we have a footprint, and I'm going to use 0805 as the footprint of this LED. And as far as the footprint is concerned, there's no need to display it, so we can just uncheck visible and then click add, and now we have 0805